Okay, guys, example number 4. I'm sorry we didn't get to go over this one in class, but here we go. It says, after a car accident, a police officer measures the length, L, in feet, of a car's skid marks. The expression, the square root of 27 times L, or 27L, gives the car's speed in miles per hour at the time the brakes were applied. Now it says write the expression in simplest form. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that expression, the one they gave us, okay, that's the square root of 27L. And you know, I always like to separate these when I'm factoring it into the numbers and the variables, okay? Now, the square root of L, guys, I'm going to put a little blue circle around that. I can't simplify that anymore. If it were L squared, I could just make it L. But it's not. It's just the square root of L. So I'm going to have to leave that the way I see it. And I'll just bring that down. Okay? But now this one, 27, there's a perfect square that goes into 27. I think you guys probably know that it's the square root of 9 times the square root of 3. Okay? Now, the square root of 9 is the same as 3, right? When I take the square root of 9, I get 3. But I can't simplify this one anymore, so I'm just going to leave that one as the square root of 3. And then I had to bring down, remember, the square root of L. So now I've got 3 times the square root of 3 times the square root of L. But I need to simplify this as much as I can. So these two things, because they're both radical, I can multiply them, and I'm going to get 3 times the square root of 3L. Okay, because I can put them under the same radical. If I can factor radicals, I certainly can multiply them together. Okay, so we have simplified it. We've got A. You can't see it right now. It's down there at the bottom. Now here's B. B says the skid marks are 125 feet long, so that means that L is 125. It says use the simplified expression to approximate the car's speed when the brakes were applied. Okay. Now, it said use the simplified, so that's going to be 3 times the square root of 3, but not L, because we know what L is. It's 125. Okay? So now I need to simplify this. Well, the first thing I have to do is find out what's inside this radical. So I'm going to need to multiply those. 3 times the square root of 375. Okay? Now, I don't know what the square root of 375 is. I'm going to just use my calculator. They didn't ask me to simplify it. They said use an approximation. So I can use the calculator and do second x squared, that's square root, 375, enter. That gives me this number, 19.36491673. That's an approximation. And then when I multiply that by 3, I'm going to get 58.09475019. And they said use the simplified expression to approximate the car's speed. So I'm going to say that the car's speed was approximately, that's what these little wavy equal signs mean. They mean approximately 58 miles per hour. Okay, interesting. So at 58 miles per hour, they slammed on their brakes and they had skid marks that were 125 feet long. Okay, and they used that radical expression to find out how fast they were going before they hit the brakes. All right, good job, guys. I think you're ready for your homework, and I'll see you tomorrow.